You're prompt.
Sorry. Frightfully clumsy of me. I intended to surprise you.
A rather difficult assignment under the circumstances.
And yet it might have been so much less painful for both of us.
Well, which is it to be? Pistol, dagger, or accidental drowning?
Please do me the favor to turn around and face the water.
Chevrolet, year's best seller. And Chevy's Corvair, car of the year. Bring you in behalf of your local authorized Chevrolet dealer, the Chevy Mystery Show. Tonight's play stars Cesar Romero in The Suicide Club. Teleplay by Norman Lessing, based on the story by Robert Louis Stevenson. Also starring Everett Sloan, Dan Tobin, Doris Dowling, Barry Kroger, Chet Stratton, and John Alderman. Starring your hosts, Vincent Price.
Welcome back. The scene is London, the year 1911. You have just witnessed what seems to be a murder by prearrangement. A bizarre happening, but not nearly so bizarre as the events which shortly follow. It is the following evening, and we open on the gay, festive spirit of a carnival.
Oh, bravo, Your Highness. Well done.
Here you are, Governor.
Well, a magnificent trophy of the hut, my dear Gerald. Shall we mount it in my study or in the throne room? It might take the place of some of the grim portraits of my distinguished ancestors.
Oh, Your Highness.
Here's a much better idea. For you, mademoiselle. Unless you have some objection. Well, Gerald, shall I have another try?
Oh, no, sir, please desist, I beg of you.
Oh, sir, I do not understand your protest.
Well, you see, I've made a wager with this charming creature. For every time you hit the wee target, I'm to eat 5 of her home-baked cream tarts. Well, you've rung the bell 10 times, and I've eaten 40 tarts. 40. There are 10 that are left. Would you do me the honor of accepting one?
My acceptance of a gift, sir, depends upon the spirit in which it is offered.
The spirit, sir, is one of mockery.
In that case.
And you, sir?
No, thank you.
Gerald.
Do you very good health, gentlemen.
Allow me to congratulate you on your pastry, madam.
Oh, you're a connoisseur. Try enough.
Oh, no, thank you. You're much too kind.
Oh, you, sir?
No, thank you.
Havers. And you forced me to eat the 7 that remain, and I don't mind telling you I'm a wee bit fed up.
Your appeal interests me. We might be constrained to have another go at it on one account.
Granted.
That you join us while we refresh ourselves, and you state your reasons for your extraordinary and heroic behavior.
Ah, very good, sir.
Waiter, some tea, please.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen?
This time to your health, my friend.
Oh, that's a most unlikely toast. But nevertheless...
Well, we await your explanation.
Gentlemen, you see before you a ruined man in the process of killing himself.
What? Killing himself?
Aye. I'm stuffing myself to death. I admit the method seems a bit unusual, but inflicting violence on my own person, it frightens me to death. You know, I once tried the Japanese method of harikiri. Oh, Havers, when the dagger reached the spot where it tickled my belly, it got no further.
Well, why should you want to kill yourself?
Doesn't everyone?
So, come, Gerald. If we're to have any influence on this gentleman, we must be as frank with him as he has been with us. You see before you, sir, two men who have ruined their lives. I have just gone through my third and last fortune, and the colonel here has just been cashiered out of the officers' club for cheating at cards. Oh, come, my dear friend, this is no time for reticence. We're face to face with a kindred spirit.
Now, you're not fooling me. You are indeed as ruined as I am.
Excuse me, gentlemen, but I could not help overhearing your conversation.
Sir, this intrusion
may be perhaps the most fortunate event in your life, or what may be left of it. Permit me, gentlemen, to introduce myself. My name is Malthus, Bartholomew Malthus.
Honored.
How do you do?
Yeah, now, if you'll be good enough to explain.
Oh, I have every intention of doing so. From what I overheard, I gather that you gentlemen have one thing in common. One thing that you all desire.
Death.
Precisely. But the means to that most praiseworthy end are, there's the rub, the point at which so many earnest seekers like yourselves have faltered.
True, only too true.
Gentlemen, do you mind if I sit down? Now, what would you gentlemen say if I told you that this last stumbling block has been removed, that a method has been devised, so perfect that the person seeking death, even if his courage fails him at the last moment, can no longer withdraw, that the deed can be accomplished without the slightest effort on his part, without the slightest embarrassment to family, friends, or reputation.
This is preposterous. Let him continue, Gerald.
I don't wonder at your friend's skepticism. However, everything I have said is true. And moreover, the deed can be accomplished in the most charming and efficient manner. Your last moments will be spent in the most congenial of company.
You've aroused our curiosity, sir. Will you come to the point?
Gladly. But first, gentlemen, and I saw at once that you were gentlemen, else I should not dare to have broached this subject. First, you must give me your word of honor as gentlemen that you will keep the secret, that you will tell no one what I am about to impart.
You have our word?
Good. Have you ever heard of the Suicide Club?
The what? The Suicide Club? Well, that sounds most intriguing.
It is indeed. And wait until you meet the president, the genius who has devised this scheme and supervises its execution. And, oh, yes, that reminds me, gentlemen, I do hope that each of you has sufficient cash on hand for the initiation fee. It's really ridiculously small, only £40 per person.
I think we can make out.
Oh, not I. I've squandered the last of my money on these revolting tarts. Doesn't it prove I'm the most unlucky of men to miss a golden opportunity like this one?
Well, perhaps one of these two gentlemen could be prevailed upon to furnish you a loan.
Now, see here.
And it might also furnish me with additional proof of your sincerity.
Our sincerity?
Ah, yes. Those who are truly ready to embrace death have no need for money. And I must be certain that you're in earnest before presenting you to the president of the establishment.
Well, I think my friend can accommodate you with some of his ill-gotten gains.
Not my...
The money you won cheating, it's tainted anyway.
But
Gerald.
As you wish.
Oh, believe me, sir, I shall be eternally grateful to you.
Eternally. Appropriate word, isn't it? Now, if you gentlemen would be good enough to accompany me.
Waiter, never mind the tea.
Never mind the tea.
Arrêtez de your impatience on me. I suggest you cool it with champagne.
How are we out there tonight? Crowded?
Oh, comme si comme ça, mon président.
Business is falling off. You know, my dear, it's partly your fault. You've only recruited one new member in the past month.
Oh, you are mistaken. There were two.
I just counted the one.
Oh, the other one spent all his money on me. He had nothing left for the initiation fee.
You are getting careless.
How was I to know? He assured me he was wealthy.
bounder. If there's anything I despise, it's dishonesty.
Oh, do not fret, mon chou.
Have you read this?
Curious Death of Sir Arthur Granger. But that is what you had planned, no?
The finding of a dead man's pocketbook with a plentiful supply of banknotes, all untouched, proves that this was no ordinary robbery.
Oh, but what do you expect? After all, they are not professionals.
Has Edgerton arrived yet?
But not 5 minutes ago.
We'll send him in here at once, alone.
I hasten to do my master's bidding. Monsieur Edgerton!
One-glass fools, amateurs, a lot of them.
You expressed a desire to see me?
Ah, come in, my dear Edgerton. Accept my felicitations on the success of your mission.
Oh, spare me your praise, I beg of you.
I've just been reading about it in the newspaper. Would you care to?
Thank you, no, I've read it.
But there seems to be an error. Says something here about retrieving Sir Arthur's pocketbook. As I recall, you had my instructions to bring me his effects.
I didn't care to soil my hands with him any longer than was necessary.
Necessary? And who are you to determine what is necessary? You are familiar with the rules of the organization, are you not?
Of course I am. I came here to rid myself of a life which has become most obnoxious to me.
Well, then let me remind you that it is I who make the plans and give the orders. And under the rules of our membership, you are bound to follow them.
I accepted the conditions. I did what I was sworn to do.
Not quite, my dear boy. You must remember that people are inclined to take a rather dim view of snuffing out a human life. As a matter of fact, they're quite stuffy on the subject. The accident, the death, has to be an accident. Or an ordinary crime, like a footpad or something that nobody pays any attention to.
I had no way of knowing the pocketbook would be found.
Exactly my point. You had no way of knowing anything. Yours not to reason why. Yours but to do and die.
I should like nothing better. For 10 nights in a row, I've come here with the most wretched luck.
Cheer up, my dear Edgerton. My instinct tells me that tonight, your luck may change.
Our hero of the cream tarts will be closeted with the president for just a few minutes more. I trust that your investigation will prove as successful. Now, if you'll excuse me, gentlemen.
Your Highness. My name is Theophilus Goodall, and you are Colonel Gerald Hammersmith, recently cashiered for cheating at cards.
It is criminal folly.
You're right. It's very unwise to cheat at cards.
Joke all you like, Your Highness. I'm not afraid for my own life, but yours is too valuable to risk. You have a duty to your subjects.
I have a more immediate duty here. Are you aware, Gerald, there is a man in this house growing fat on human misery? This monster accepts only gentlemen and binds them by their oaths as gentlemen, thereby sealing off all avenues of escape. He is worse than a murderer. He causes others to commit...
Good evening. I understand you wish to speak with me.
We have a desire, sir, to join the Suicide Club.
What in heaven's name is that?
Pardon, but I think you are the person best qualified to give information on that point.
I? Suicide Club? Come, gentlemen, you're mistaken. This is a private house, and we're having a private party. And if you do not leave immediately, I have a few fellows at my call who would be delighted to hasten your exit.
There, you have your answer. Now let us leave.
Sir, we have come here at the invitation of a friend of yours. You may call whomever you will. But I warn you, men in our position have very little to lose. And if our entry into the next world is going to be expedited by you in such a fashion, I assure you we shall take some of your friends with us.
Aha, spoken like a man, sir. But first I must put a few questions to you to test your resolve. Will you follow me, please?
Thank you.
Now tell me, why is it that you're tired of life?
As near as I can make out, my sheer, unadulterated laziness.
Oh, now, come. You must have something better than that.
Also, I've gone through my last fortune, and I'm much too lazy to make another. Lack of money can be vexing. It brings my sense of idleness to an acute point.
Now, you know, if I wasn't a man of experience, I should turn you out. But I know that often the flimsiest excuses for suicide are the weightiest. But your friend here, he doesn't seem the sort of person to be attracted to our club. He lacks a certain anemia, shall we say? What would his reason be for joining our group?
The colonel has been cashiered out of the army for cheating at cards.
The devil you say. Cheating at cards? Whatever prompted you to do a thing like that?
I did not require any prompting, sir.
Gentlemen, you are two men after my own heart. Come with me. Oh, you know about the initiation fee?
Colonel.
80 pounds, I believe.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you. Oh, and it's also customary for the new members to buy champagne for the other guests. It's one of our little traditions.
Oh, I'm sure the Colonel will be happy to oblige.
Very happy.
Well, then allow me the honor to introduce you to your fellow members. Here are two more acquisitions for our club.
Oh, my dear chap, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you.
Welcome, welcome. Allow me to congratulate you on passing the examination.
Thank you, Mr. Malthus.
Our new members have most generously offered to buy champagne for the company.
Oh, marvelous, isn't it? Such high spirits and such laughter.
I detect a little hysteria.
Oh, naturally. If life is to be tolerated at all, it must be done so hysterically. Oh, come, let me introduce you to our enchanting hostess, Madame Zeffreen. May I present my dearest friend, upon my word, I don't know your name.
Mr. Goodall, Theophilus Goodall.
Charmed.
Doubly so, my dear lady.
And these chaps over here, chaps, tell them your name. Introduce yourselves.
Rodney Hart. Very pleased.
You're all so full of vitality. Does it not tickle your senses to realize that shortly one of them will be marked for death and another assigned to the role of executioner?
It does not, sir. It does not tickle me at all.
Well, you shall not lack for excitement, I promise you that. And our president, did you not find him an extraordinary man? I mean, such drollery, such wit. Eh? And between the two of us, probably the greatest rogue in the entire British Empire.
I'm quite in accord with you there, sir.
Ah, yes, but what imagination, what ingenuity.
You talk as one who's been coming here for some time. It was my understanding that this game you've described, this fascinating game of life or death, is played every night. You have been exceedingly fortunate to have survived so long.
Well, yes, but you see, I have certain privileges. In return for recruiting new members like yourself, I'm sometimes permitted to attend merely as onlooker. But tonight I permit myself the supreme thrill. Tonight I participate in the game.
But still you do not sound to me like a man who wished to put an end to his life.
Oh, on the contrary.
Well, then for the life of me, I can't see...
You can't see why I attend. Yes. Well, the reason should be obvious. Allow me to confess it at once. I am a coward.
A coward?
Oh, yes. The most abject, the most craven, the most pusillanimous in all the world. I glory in it.
But
Sir, allow me to ask you, what else in life is left to me except the supreme thrill of complete and abject fear? I've experienced everything else. Of course, some people say that love is the strongest passion. I deny it. Fear is the strongest passion. Beside it, everything else pales into complete insignificance. Yes, I tell you, sir, I love the entire idea of it. Fear, sir. And I must tell you that I'm lucky. I am lucky to have been born so consummate a coward.
I do not agree with you. Well, I must confess to a certain curiosity. In a sense, we may all be compared to the inmates of a sanitarium who love to discuss the symptoms which have brought them together.
Oh, no. Here we do not speak of illness.
Well, I'm certain Madame's case, the only illness with which she has any connection is the love sickness of her suitor.
Thank you, monsieur. And I hope you will be spared that affliction.
Vain hope, Madame. In your divine presence, one could hardly help but be smitten. But to get back to the question, what, sir, has induced you to embrace the prospect of death?
I share your weakness, sir. I, too, am curious. Curious about the mysteries of the great beyond. And I've grown tired of depending upon hearsay evidence.
Your knowledge for... your sense of knowledge is only better than your sense of drinking champagne, my friend. And what, sir, may your reason be?
Too much knowledge, I'm afraid. I have lately taken to reading the works of Charles Darwin.
I can't bear to go on living with the thought that my ancestor was an ape.
Well, our charming hostess is a living refutation of Mr. Darwin's absurd theory.
On the other hand, if one were to make a close study of Mr. Malthus... Come, Mr. Malthus. Have some champagne.
A toast, Mr. Malthus. A toast.
May I have your attention, gentlemen? Will you please to take your places? The game is about to begin.
Behind one of these doors is a Chevrolet, America's bestseller. And behind the other is Chevy's Corvair, the bestseller's car of the year. The mystery? Which car is behind which door? Now study these clues. This car has famous body by Fisher, more solid, better craftsmanship. But so does this one. This car behind this door has a superior finish, magic mirror finish, that stays new-looking longer. But so does this one. This car has a 6-cylinder engine, famous for economy of operation. But so does this one. And you can get a choice deal right now on this car and also on this one. Here, a Chevrolet, year's bestseller. And here, Chevy's Corvair, the bestseller's car of the year. And certainly it's no mystery why Chevrolet and Chevy's Corvair are so popular. Each does a special job for special people, but both are loaded with Chevrolet's traditional value, dependability, low initial cost, economy of operation, things every car buyer wants in his car. So see your Chevrolet dealer now for a year-end deal on America's first choice car, Chevrolet. And on the car of the year, Chevy's Corvair.
A game of cards, but what a game. The stakes, life or death. The chief participants, executioner and victim. A kind of Russian roulette, but done, as the president of the Suicide Club would say, with artistry and finesse. Our story continues as the game is about to commence.
We're honored tonight by the presence of 3 new members. Will you remain standing, gentlemen, please? Raise the hand nearest to your heart. You do hereby solemnly swear...
Mr. President.
Sir?
Since we have all made up our minds to dispose of our bodies, let us do so as gentlemen. This flutter and big talk seems to me to be out of place.
Sir, this club, like any other, has certain rules. You will either abide by them or leave.
Let us go. We did not come here to be insulted.
Well, gentlemen?
We are ready to conform.
You do hereby solemnly swear to abide by the regulations of the Suicide Club, to maintain the strictest secrecy, to follow without question the orders of your president, irrespective of all moral codes and judgments, in the full realization of which there is no turning back or withdrawal save death, to the fulfillment of which you pledge your word and your sacred honor. Do you, gentlemen, so swear?
I do.
I do. I do.
Please sit down. Well, now, to get to the game. The rules are quite simple, really. I shall deal you each card face down. The fortunate individual receiving the ace of spades shall soon depart this life. The ace of clubs shall act as executioner. I will furnish the plan of execution. Madame Zephyr. Gentlemen, will you uncover your cards, please?
The tray of diamonds. The queen of hearts. The seven of spades. The king of spades.
Only once removed from the ace. My sympathy, sir. Will you oblige? The ace, but the ace of diamonds.
The knave of clubs. The king of clubs. The nine of diamonds. The tray of hearts.
Mr. Malthus. Only the five of diamonds. I thought it was something extraordinary from your behavior. Now, gentlemen, if you'll pass your discards down to Madame Zephyrin.
They're mad, all of them, mad. Let's get out of here now while we still can.
We've sworn an oath. Let us demonstrate we can play like gentlemen, no matter what the stake.
Will you uncover your cards, gentlemen?
The ten of spades. The nine of clubs. The deuce of spades. The queen of diamonds. The ace of hearts.
Thousand devils.
The ace of clubs.
2 nights in a row. It's not possible. You promised me my luck would change.
Promise you? You merely had my good wishes, nothing more.
You arranged that, you blackguard.
Sir, I resent that imputation. Under any other circumstances, you would have a duel on your hands.
Gladly. With any weapon you choose.
Fortunately, you are under strict obligation to kill another first. Besides, you're quite wrong. If there's anyone who cheats at cards at this table, it's not I. If Mr. Malthus can restrain his mirth, play will resume.
The four of hearts. The seven of hearts. The nine of spades.
Turn up your card, Mr. Malthus. Mr. Malthus, turn up your card.
No.
The ace of spades. Gentlemen, the game is over for tonight. We'll miss you, Malty.
No.
Come, Gerald, we've seen enough. Enough. My heart bleeds for that poor fellow.
They're murderers, all of them. That's what they are, murderers.
Oh, my dear Mr. Malthus. Oh, don't take on, sir, man. Don't you realize how fortunate you are? Don't you realize?
The night air smells fresh and clean. What a relief it is to get the stench of that place out of my nostrils.
Night is also good for murder.
How can I continue to allow this wholesale murder to go on with profit and impunity?
Can we not go to the police?
We are sworn to secrecy.
Your Highness, I realize that you cannot compromise your oath. But my honor, your honor is the honor of our country, but my honor, I would gladly forswear mine.
Harold, if your honor suffers in any way on account of me, then mine is muddied too.
It is for your Highness to command. Shall we quit this accursed spot?
By all means, call a cab.
Cabby! Cabby! Hey, Cabby!
13 Chadwick Square.
Your instructions are precisely the same as they were last evening. Same as to location, method, and all the other details, which I beg you to remember. The only thing different, of course, will be your partner. By committing 2 crimes at the same place, the police will never expect that to happen.
You're a fiend.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I wonder where Mr. Malthus is.
Mercy, Mr. President. Please, show mercy.
Now, Malty, you know the rules. You go on. I'll bring him to his senses.
No.
Oh, you forgot your cane.
You're so right.
I don't want to die.
Now, Malty.
You've always been so considerate of me. I don't want to die.
Malty, you know there's no backing down. We must keep faith with the members.
Yes, but they'll never know. I'll hide. I'll run far away and I'll hide. You'll never see me again.
Now, Malty, you know that's impossible.
No, I'll make a bargain with you. Listen, I had something to tell you. Something that I was afraid to tell you until now.
Why don't you go out and have yourself a nice long drink of brandy?
No, I just had one.
Well, I'll instruct Madame to give you a whole bottle, no charge.
Look, I'm not saying this just to save my life. It's true. It's true. You're in danger. Your life is, and the Suicide Club is in danger. You see, you have an opponent. An opponent as powerful as you are, even more powerful.
Madame?
Oui, mon président.
Could you get a bottle of my best brandy for Mr. Malthus?
No, please, you must listen. That man, the man I brought here tonight, the one who calls himself Theophilus Caudal, that's not his name at all. He's a prince.
A what?
Yes.
A prince. That's strange. There was an air about him. I could almost have guessed it.
You believe this drivel?
But it's true. It's true, I swear it. I swear it on my hope of everlasting life.
But of course it's true. As a man walked like a prince. Everyone stopped and listened when he spoke. Everyone sensed that here was a man accustomed to command. His words flowed like honey. It was like music in my veins.
You simpering little fool. Is this the payment for all the education I've wasted upon you? I trained you to dominate men, not to let one man make you his slave.
You're hurting me.
That is exactly my intention. Do you come to your senses?
Monsieur President, you should not have done that.
You hold your tongue. Now, what more do you know?
A great deal more. Oh, a very great deal more. But such information comes at a price.
I'll pay if I decide it's worth it.
All right. You're a man of honor. I know you'll see it's worth it. When I first met him at the shooting gallery, I thought that I heard the other man address him as Your Highness.
And still you brought him here?
I thought, but you see, I wasn't sure. And then I was sure that I was mistaken, because he seemed so democratic.
Numbskull, that's the fashion for princes these days.
I own that I made a mistake. But I didn't know it till half an hour ago. You see, I made an appointment to meet him at his hotel. And I came early, on purpose, you see. And I asked the porter, quite offhand and casual, I said, can you tell me when the prince will arrive? And he said that Prince Florizel permitted no one to give any information as to his coming or going.
Florizel?
Yes, Prince Florizel of Bohemia.
That man? He's solved cases for the police in half the capitals of Europe. Of all men, you had to bring me that one.
Well, I was going to tell you.
Yes,
Believe me.
You neglected to.
Yes, because I was afraid.
Afraid of what?
Afraid of what you were going to do to me.
Afraid of what I am going to do to you.
No, you can't. Not that I've told you now, you can't.
I'm sick to death of blunderers.
I won't go. I can't. You can cancel the appointment.
The appointment will be kept.
No!
You had better take care. The prince is a dangerous opponent.
The appointment will be kept.
No.
It's all right, Mr. Moses. I will bring you a bottle of brandy.
Oh, no. I don't want to die.
Mr. President,
In the flesh, my dear fellow.
you wish to be killed? In your instance, it would be a distinct pleasure.
One I fear that you will have to deny yourself. I merely came to inform you that Mr. Malthus will not be present.
Why not?
I regret to say that he had a prior engagement.
With whom?
Death.
Malthus dead?
A greater power than ours has anticipated us.
What did he die of?
Fright, I should imagine. Then, of course, that's just a layman's diagnosis.
Thank God.
You may indeed. Now, if you can suppress your natural inclination to stab me, thank you. Could you tell me exactly where you disposed of Sir Arthur?
Must we go into that subject?
I'm afraid we must. You see, I bear the responsibility of planning all our exits. And it's my business to look into these matters.
Very well. He was standing here.
And you pierced him?
No.
Now we see how this is done. First we clean the salt. Then we remove the subject's effects, but we do not throw them away. Goodbye, dear boy. You've caused me some annoyance in the past, but I no longer bear you a grudge. It would be petty. Oh, you won't be lonely. One of our more distinguished members, Prince Florizel of Bohemia, will soon be joining you.
Going. Yes, the 1960 Chevrolets and Corvairs are really going fast at your Chevrolet dealers. And the reason? He's offering money-saving deals to move out his 60 models to make room for the 61 Chevy line coming soon. It means this is your chance of the year to make a tremendous deal on the 60 Chevy of your choice. Perhaps you prefer a luxurious Impala like this. Or maybe your favorite is the economical Corvair. Whichever you choose, you'll get a choice deal at your Chevrolet dealers now. But hurry, it's your last chance to get a new Chevrolet, year's best seller. And the car of the year, Corvair. You'll get the money-saving deal you've been looking for.
The distinguished president of the Suicide Club, though congenial enough in his own morbid way, is not exactly the kind of fellow you'd like to invite to brunch or a Sunday picnic. Prince Florizel does not begin to suspect the president has discovered his true identity, and even if the prince knew, he'd still be bound by his foolhardy oath as a member of the Suicide Club. That was one of the troubles with being a prince and a gentleman in those days. Our scene is the prince's hotel suite. Time, the following morning.
Walk on. Yes, please. Well, there's nothing yet. But then news could hardly be expected so early.
No, hardly. Let us pray for poor Mr. Malthus. We can only hope that something has happened to circumvent this horrible design. In any event, we're well out of it.
Out of it?
Surely you do not mean to return.
Yes, Gerald, tonight.
Your Highness, I must protest. The duties of your high office forbid any repetition of this hazardous undertaking.
Gerald, you forget yourself.
Oh, forgive me, Your Highness. My life is yours. Take it if you will. But do not ask me to countenance this foolhardy escapade.
I do not insist that you join me.
Oh, how can I let you go alone?
My dear friend, you have already given me sufficient proof of your devotion. I admit there is much in what you say, and I'm not altogether pleased with my own determination. But, under my royal trappings, there is a man, a human being. How can I cease to interest myself in the fortunes of these unhappy young men? How can I allow this abomination to continue?
Well, I've said all I had to say on the subject, Your Highness.
It's impossible. You cannot.
What in heaven's name? Gerald, find out the cause of this disturbance.
Yes, Your Highness.
I might have been asleep.
Oh, Your Highness, forgive me, I had to come.
Madame Zephyrin.
How did you find out who he was?
That does not matter. What does matter is that the president also knows who he is. I've come to warn you.
Sit down, please, madame. Oh, Gerald, some brandy for madame.
Yes.
So you've come to warn me. Against what?
Under no condition must you return to the Suicide Club.
But I must. I gave my word.
You gave it as Theophilus Godal, not as the prince. Oh. Bohemia!
Which changes nothing, only to make my promise all the more binding.
Your Highness does not understand. The president means to kill you. Tonight, you are to receive the card of death.
Ah, well, as to that, it's in the lap of the guards. The deck contains 52 cards.
Oh, but you are blind, mon prince. Do you think it was by accident that Egerton received the ace of clubs 2 nights in a row?
Well, I watched the president closely. I detected no evidence of cheating.
But he's far too skillful for that. And he is skillful in other things as well. You are no match for him in the art of murder.
Your Highness, you cannot return. I will not allow it.
You will not allow? Oh, my dear Gerald, it's not as bad as all that. We've been in awkward situations before. And I think I may count on 2 faithful allies.
I came to warn you. I can do nothing more.
There is only one thing I would have you do, madame. Leave the service of this monster.
I am afraid.
I will see that every precaution is taken for your safety.
Do you think you can stop him? You do not know him as well as I do. You cannot possibly imagine the things he is capable of doing.
Oh, I think I can. I've come across his ilk before, but none, I admit, quite so villainous.
He is evil. He found me on the streets. He made me the thing I am.
Well, for that, at least, he deserves our thanks.
If only I had the courage to end this miserable existence. If only I could play in that deadly game of cards.
Oh, my dear child, you must not despair. Where there is life...
No, there is no hope. Not as long as he is the one that lives.
We shall see.
Our ranks are somewhat depleted this evening. Poor Malthy, I do miss him. So tonight I suggest a little departure. Something to add a little spice of novelty. Since there are only 8 of us playing, I suggest that we use just 8 cards. The ace of spades and the ace of clubs will be among them. Thus, gentlemen, you will find out what fate has in store on the very first round. Do you agree?
Agreed.
We'll let Madame Zephyrin mix. You let her fingers decide. I've always thought that fate was a woman. Between us, gentlemen, something of a wanton.
Do not pick up the cards.
I beg your pardon?
I said, do not pick up the cards. Just shove them across the table. Top card first.
I see. Coming from you, I quite understand the objection. Oh. Pardon me, Colonel, but not all of us share your extraordinary skill at cards. Gentlemen, will you uncover your cards, please?
The ace of diamonds. The king of clubs.
You will observe that I have used cards of only the highest rank as befits our select group.
The ace of hearts. The king of diamonds.
My congratulations, sir. The ace of spades, and only your second night here. What a stroke of luck.
The game is not yet completed.
Oh, of course. How remiss of me. Please, continue. I can understand your agitation, sir, but then you do share a 50% chance with the gentleman on your left. Only one of you can wear the executioner's mask. The ace of clubs.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That's not why I came here. Oh, my own life, yes, but how can I take another's?
You're bound by your oath. There's no turning back.
But I cannot do it. You're my friend. Oh, please, tell me, what am I to do?
What you are sworn to do, laddie, as must I.
Splendidly spoken, sir, but then I knew you were a gentleman. The game is over for tonight. Will you attend me in my study? Mr. Goodall, if you will have the goodness to wait, we won't be long.
We must escape from this place at once while there's still time.
I gave my word.
Have you lost your senses? I will not stand by and see you slaughtered.
You have my permission to leave.
Then I shall take it. I have no stomach for this business.
Oh, Your Highness, I tried to warn you.
You did your best, madame.
I shall be grateful as long as I live.
Tomorrow afternoon, at 3 o'clock, you will meet Mr. Goodall at a very unpopular little restaurant in Soho. Here's the address. Now, I've chosen this place with great care. It serves what is undoubtedly the worst food in London.
You wish me to assassinate him in a restaurant?
I do, with cream tarts.
Cream tarts?
The late lamented Mr. Malthus informed me of the circumstances of your first meeting. And it pleases my fancy to end your acquaintance on a similar note. I'm a sentimentalist.
Diabolical one.
Thank you. You will have with you this bag containing 2 cream tarts. You will offer Mr. Goodall his choice of one, and you will take the other. He will watch you, of course, while you're eating yours. Seeing nothing amiss, proceed to eat the other one. Both tarts will be poisoned.
Both poisoned? But
Hear me out. The poison will take at least an hour to have its effect. Meanwhile, you will drink the contents of this phial. It has the antidote.
Fiendish.
Ingenious. Since Mr. Goodall's last moments on Earth will be traced to this unsavory little restaurant, it'll naturally be assumed that he died of indigestion.
Is there nothing you left unplanned?
Nothing. Now, will you please be good enough to tell Mr. Goodall I'd like to see him?
My friend, it's your turn to confer with the devil.
Take courage, my friend.
We'll make no outcry. The cab is waiting. Step inside.
You'll oblige me immensely if you pull the trigger.
Do not tempt me. Inside. You have your instructions, driver.
What? Colonel Hammersmith?
Yes?
But what are you up to?
A kidnapping.
But to save your friend?
Exactly.
Oh, good, I'm delighted. But I must warn you, I'm honor-bound as a gentleman to exert every means of escape.
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
So, you must tie me very securely.
Oh, that shall be done. Never fear, never fear.
Oh, thank you. Colonel, I've no words to thank you.
The gentleman with the cream tarts has all the instructions. You are to meet him tomorrow afternoon at this address at 3 o'clock. Oh, one thing more. It's a trifle, but we must take every precaution.
I would not have it otherwise.
You know, these young men, so preoccupied with their own little cares, are frequently not dependable. Now, if for some reason he should fail to appear at 3 o'clock, I will expect you to return here at once. Do you understand?
I understand.
I have your word as a gentleman.
You have my word as a gentleman.
It's all right now.
The place will be furious, of course. But I had no alternative. Are you sure you're comfortable?
Aye.
Some refreshment, perhaps?
Oh, no. Thank you.
Oh, if the prince only knew that you had slept last night in the very next room.
Oh, you know, a thought just occurred to me.
Yes?
Well, it might conceivably be my duty to scream for help. You think you should put a gag in my mouth?
Do you give me your word as a gentleman that you will make no outcry?
Aye, I do.
Good. That would hardly be necessary, would it? Who can that be? It can't be the prince. He's at the restaurant. His Highness! Where is he? I must see him at once. I'm afraid that's impossible. Why? Mr. Romero!
You're alive.
Well, I say, that seems fairly obvious, doesn't it?
Oh, you must notify the president at once. Your death affected him greatly.
Oh, you fool. The president knows I'm alive. He kept me prisoner in his house. Prisoner? Yes. I gave my word of honor as a gentleman that I would not try to escape. And you broke it. I did not consider myself bound. He broke his word first. He was pledged to contrive my death. He, sir, is no gentleman.
Heathers, do you know what this means? None of us are bound to the oath any longer. The president has broken his faith with us. We owe him nothing in return.
By George, that's so. The prince must be informed immediately. The prince? Yes. Oh, well, where is he?
Well, we had an appointment, but unfortunately I wasn't able to make it.
Yes, thank heaven. I think your thanks may be somewhat premature. What makes you say that?
I know the President's tactics. If you did not keep your appointment, I know where the Prince must be now. He must have gone back to the Suicide Club.
He shan't be there for long.
Take care. You're about to meet the devil on his own ground. Are you armed?
Naturally.
Well, since I find myself otherwise unoccupied, I think I shall untie you, young man.
Oh, my friend, it was good of you to bring me this news.
I was merely trying to preserve my own life, you see. Because I know that the President means to kill me. Of course, he's only trying to find some amusing way.
Well, Mr. Malthus, you mean you really want to live?
Well, only a fool does not. I tell you, once you have drawn the ace of spades, well, then you immediately realize how precious life is. Oh, my dear.
Oh, that's true. Only too true. My own eyes are beginning to open, too. I see now what a useless life I've led. Well, henceforth, my ways will be changed. I mean to make my way in the world. I know what I'll do. I'll open a bake shop.
Splendid. Splendid. I say, do you think you could use a partner?
I could.
The man simply has no sense of honor.
I cannot agree with you. It is possible something unforeseen has detained him. Be that as it may, I have returned here as instructed.
Highly commendable. Of course, I never doubted that you would keep your oath.
I've sworn another oath.
To what effect?
In some way, by some means, to bring you to justice.
Prince Bonneville, Your Highness!
Gerald, I warned you not to interfere. And be careful how you address me.
He knows who you are.
Indeed, I do, Your Highness. And I must say I couldn't be more honored.
You, sir, are a fraudulent impostor. We shall expose you. This is an end to your Suicide Club.
Must I remind you I've sworn an oath?
You're bound by it no longer. He has broken his pledge. Mr. Malthus is still alive. You, sir, are no gentleman.
The Colonel speaks the truth. Only a fool would allow himself to be bound by rules.
Then, sir, I must ask you to defend yourself.
Precisely my intention. No, I wouldn't do that, Colonel. Put it down.
What do you mean to do?
Kill you both, of course. My own existence depends upon it.
In this crude and amateurish way? Oh, come, Mr. President. You're much too ingenious for that. You're certain to be found out. How, sir, did you intend to dispose of our bodies?
Child's play. Do you think I'm unfamiliar with the most elementary aspects of my own trade? Prince, if you have any prayers, prepare to say them now.
I recommend you say yours. Retribution, like the law, has a very long arm.
Oh, I think I can manage to stay out of reach.
He's dead. It is an act of divine providence.
Providence, perhaps, but he's been stabbed.
But that's impossible. Stabbed by whom?
By me, gentlemen.
Madame Zéphine. We owe you our lives, madame. You have shed blood for our sakes. I know how distressing this must be for you.
I have grown so accustomed to the sight of death, it no longer bothers me. Is least of all. And now my fate is in your hands.
But you have gained your freedom, madame. The event calls for a celebration.
Your Highness.
Oh, yes, I forgot. What a pity. I must leave for Bohemia early tomorrow morning.
Oh, quel dommage. But we still have tonight?
Ah, yes, madame. Zero, don't bother to wait up.
Much pleasanter than dying, don't you think?
Next week, a longtime favorite of the Chevy Show, Miss Janet Blair, stars in a delightful mystery comedy, The Perfect Alibi. And in a little while, Janet herself will appear to tell you all about it.
This is a Conestoga wagon of frontier fame. These were the wheels that carried the pioneers and all their possessions across America. These are the wheels that covered a continent. Today, the wheels are different, but they're still rolling.
Wheels are rolling, rolling all along the highway. Wheels that keep a rolling all the night and day. Singing a song of the men behind the motor trucks. A song of safety and service all along the way. Keep them rolling, keep America strong. East, west, north, south, rolling along. Wheels are rolling, rolling all across the nation. Wheels that keep a rolling all the night and day. Singing a song of the men behind the motor trucks. Keep them rolling all across the USA.
Across the USA, only trucks can deliver to your store or your own front door so swiftly such things as ice cream, fresh meat, newspapers, clothing, furniture, and the hundreds of other things you use every day. Modern trucks deliver the goods faster and more economically. They make your life more pleasant. You live better because of trucks that keep rolling along.
Singing a song of the men behind the motor trucks. Keep them rolling all across the USA.
This message has been brought to you in behalf of the American trucking industry by Chevrolet, maker of Chevrolet sturdy-built trucks.
Good evening. And thank you, Vincent Price, for letting me take your place briefly in this rather eerie, mysterioso setting. I always wanted to know how it would feel to stand here, and frankly, it gives me goosebumps. But anyhow, I do appreciate this chance to tell you how very happy I am to be back next week on the Chevy Mystery Show. As Vincent mentioned, The Perfect Alibi combines mystery with comedy. But there's also a good deal of danger and suspense as well. I play a girl who tries to solve a murder and get into an awful lot of hot water as a result. Appearing with me will be Richard Ney and an absolutely wonderful cast. The Perfect Alibi was adapted by Norman Lessing from a play by A.A. Milne. And it will be directed by Richard Dunlap. I think it'll be wonderful, and I hope...
Things are booming at your Chevrolet dealers. He's delivering so many new Chevrolets and Corvairs that his OK used car lot is getting swamped with trade-ins. You name it, he probably has it. Sedans, hardtops, trucks, foreign cars, station wagons, and convertibles. All makes, all models. And this big volume means a big bargain for you, because these cars have to be sold now to make room for others coming in. Even more important than the low prices is this. These are not merely used cars, they're OK use cars with plenty of good use still in them. So for a good use car, head for your Chevrolet dealer's exclusive OK use car lot.
Next week, the Chevy Mystery Show presents The Perfect Alibi, starring Janet Blair and Richard Ney, by A.A. Milne, teleplay by Norman Lessing. The Chevy Mystery Show has been brought to you by Chevrolet in behalf of your local authorized Chevrolet dealer, who offers Chevrolet Year's Bestseller and Chevy's Corvair, Car of the Year. This is Joel Aldred reminding you to drive with care everywhere.